When people talk about longevity, they often speak as if it were a prize awarded at random, something granted by genetics or fate. Yet when you look closely at the places where people routinely live long, active lives, a different picture emerges. Longevity there is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is not built around heroic effort or extreme discipline. It is quiet, woven into ordinary days, practiced so gently that it almost disappears into life itself. This is especially true in Japan, where aging has never been viewed as a problem to defeat, but as a phase to be tended with care, awareness, and respect for the body's rhythms. What fascinates scientists today is not simply that many Japanese adults live well into their 80s and 90s, but how they live. They walk without fear. They rise from the floor with ease. They garden, cook, laugh, and move through their communities without the stiffness and exhaustion so often assumed to be inevitable after 60. When researchers began asking why, they found no single miracle food, no secret supplement, no punishing exercise routine hidden behind temple walls. Instead, they found something almost disappointingly simple: short, intentional movement practiced daily, long before weakness ever demanded attention. Modern science has given us language to describe what Japanese culture has practiced intuitively for generations. The body does not decline because it ages, it declines because it stops being reminded how to function. Muscles weaken not only from disuse, but from lost communication. Joints stiffen not because they are worn out, but because they are no longer moved through their natural ranges with awareness. Balance fades not because the body forgets, but because the nervous system is no longer challenged gently enough to stay engaged. What makes the Japanese approach so compelling is not intensity, but precision. 3 minutes is enough. Not 3 minutes of rushing, straining, or counting repetitions, but 3 minutes of deliberate movement that tells the nervous system, I am here, I am safe, and I am still capable. That message, repeated daily, shapes the body more powerfully than sporadic effort ever could. From a biological perspective, the nervous system governs everything we associate with aging. Muscle mass, strength, coordination, energy, even confidence in movement are all filtered through neural signaling. After 60, those signals become more conservative. The brain begins to limit output, not because the muscles are gone, but because it is trying to protect the body from injury. This protective instinct, while well-intentioned, becomes the very thing that accelerates decline. Less movement leads to less confidence. Less confidence leads to further restriction. The cycle feeds itself quietly. The Japanese 3-minute practice interrupts this cycle without confrontation. It does not demand more than the body can offer. It does not threaten the joints or exhaust the heart. Instead, it gently invites the nervous system back into dialogue with the body. Slow, mindful movement increases sensory input from muscles, tendons, and joints. That input reassures the brain. It restores trust. And when trust returns, strength follows. One of the most striking findings from recent research is that slow, intentional movement improves circulation more effectively in aging joints than faster, repetitive exercise. Blood flow is not just about pumping harder, it is about opening pathways. Gentle movement creates rhythmic pressure changes that encourage blood and lymph to move through tissues that have become stagnant. This is why people often feel warmth or lightness after just a few minutes. The body is not being pushed, it is being invited to circulate again. Balance, too, responds uniquely to this approach. Balance is not a single skill. It is a conversation between vision, inner ear, muscles, and the brain's sense of where the body exists in space. In youth, this system calibrates itself automatically through varied movement. With age and routine, it grows dull. Slow weight shifts, controlled transitions, and conscious posture awaken it again. Research consistently shows that short bouts of balance-focused movement improve stability more than long periods of walking, because walking rarely challenges balance once it becomes habitual. There is also the matter of energy, which many people describe as mysteriously fading with age. Biologically, energy is not just produced by the heart or lungs, it is regulated by the nervous system's willingness to mobilize resources. When movement feels unsafe or exhausting, the body conserves. When movement feels calm and controlled, the body releases energy. This is why people often feel more alert after gentle movement than after strenuous exercise. The system has been stimulated, not stressed. The 3-minute Japanese practice reflects this understanding. It begins by re-establishing posture and breath, aligning the body vertically so that gravity works with, rather than against, the muscles. This alone reduces unnecessary tension. When the spine is aligned, muscles no longer need to compensate for imbalance. Energy expenditure drops. Movement becomes more efficient. This efficiency is often mistaken for weakness in modern fitness culture, yet it is the foundation of endurance. From there, the practice introduces slow transitions, shifting weight, raising arms, rotating joints, each movement done with awareness. These movements stimulate proprioceptors, the sensory receptors that tell the brain where the body is. Proprioception declines significantly after 60, not because receptors disappear, but because they are underused. Gentle movement wakes them up. As they send clearer signals, the brain responds with better coordination and faster reaction time. Joint health also benefits in a way that is often overlooked. Joints are nourished by movement, not by rest. The cartilage inside them has no direct blood supply. It relies on compression and release to absorb nutrients. Slow, controlled movement acts like a pump, drawing nourishment in and waste out. This is why stiffness decreases when movement is regular and mindful, even without stretching aggressively. What is perhaps most profound about this practice is how it affects the emotional experience of aging. Movement done slowly and intentionally engages parts of the brain associated with presence and regulation. Stress hormones decrease. Breathing deepens. The body shifts out of a constant state of vigilance. Over time, this reduces inflammation, improves sleep, and stabilizes mood. These effects are measurable, but they are also deeply felt. People often describe a renewed sense of calm in their bodies, a feeling that movement is no longer something to fear. The absence of a gym is not a limitation here, it is an advantage. Gyms, while useful for some, can reinforce the idea that health requires external tools and special environments. The Japanese approach dissolves that belief. Health is something practiced where you are, with what you have, in the body you inhabit today. This removes barriers. It makes consistency possible. Consistency, more than any single movement, is the true driver of longevity. Biological systems respond to repeated signals, not occasional intensity. 3 minutes practiced daily sends a clearer message than an hour practiced sporadically. The nervous system thrives on predictability. When it knows movement will happen gently and regularly, it stops resisting. It adapts. There is also an important philosophical element embedded in this practice. It treats the body not as a machine to be optimized, but as a living system to be cared for. This mindset changes behavior in subtle but powerful ways. People move more attentively throughout the day. They notice posture. They respect fatigue without surrendering to inactivity. Over time, this awareness compounds. From a scientific standpoint, this approach aligns with what we know about neuroplasticity. The brain remains adaptable throughout life, but it requires input that is meaningful and manageable. Overwhelming the system shuts plasticity down. Gentle challenge enhances it. The 3-minute practice sits perfectly in that window. It challenges balance without risking falls. It challenges coordination without strain. It challenges awareness without cognitive overload. It also respects recovery, which becomes increasingly important with age. Intense exercise creates microscopic damage that requires resources to repair. While this can be beneficial, it is not always appropriate or sustainable. Gentle movement enhances function without creating debt. It leaves the body feeling restored rather than depleted. In Japan, this practice is often done in the morning, not as a workout, but as a way of greeting the day. This timing matters. Morning movement helps regulate circadian rhythms, improves insulin sensitivity, and prepares the nervous system for activity. But the true benefit is psychological. It frames the day as something to engage with, not endure. What emerges from this practice over months and years is not dramatic transformation, but quiet preservation. Strength does not peak and crash, it stabilizes. Balance does not become perfect, it becomes reliable. Energy does not spike, it becomes steady. These are the qualities that allow people to remain independent deep into old age. Science continues to explore these mechanisms, measuring outcomes and identifying pathways. Yet the essence remains simple. The body responds to attention. It responds to kindness. It responds to being used in the ways it was designed to be used, with variety, awareness, and respect for limits. Perhaps the most important lesson in the Japanese 3-minute secret is that longevity is not built by fighting decline, but by preventing disengagement. The body does not need to be pushed harder as it ages. It needs to be invited back into conversation. When people adopt this practice, they often report unexpected changes. They stand taller without trying. They feel steadier when returning. Their movements feel smoother, less effortful. These are signs that the nervous system has re-established efficient control. Muscle strength returns as a byproduct, not a goal. Before you turn off this video, take a quiet moment and notice how your body feels right now. Not to judge it. Not to compare it to the past. Just to notice it. Because the most important thing to understand about aging is this: your body is still listening. It has not stopped adapting. It has not given up on you. It is simply waiting for clear, gentle signals. You don't need a gym. You don't need long workouts. And you certainly don't need to punish your body to earn health. What it responds to best, especially after 60, is consistency, awareness, and respect. 3 minutes a day may seem insignificant, but biology doesn't measure impact in drama. It measures it in repetition. Every time you stand with intention, shift your weight slowly, breathe deeply, and move with awareness, you remind your nervous system that it is safe to stay strong. You remind your joints that they are meant to move. You remind your muscles that they are still needed. And over time, those reminders change how you live. If you choose to begin gently. There is no perfect way to start. There is only the decision to show up for your body today, exactly as it is. Let these 3 minutes become a quiet ritual, not a task, not an obligation, but a conversation with yourself. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who may need reassurance that aging does not mean fading. It means adapting wisely. Leave a comment and tell us when you plan to begin, because commitment grows stronger when it's spoken aloud. Take care of your body. It has carried you through decades of life. 3 mindful minutes a day is a small way to return that care and a powerful way to protect your independence for years to come.